Welcome to day one of Bootcamp. Over the next 2 weeks, we'll dive into the essential concepts of Swift. Then, we'll switch gears and spend the following 2 weeks on the fundamentals of SwiftUI. By the conclusion of these initial 28 days, you'll be equipped with the basic understanding of both Swift and SwiftUI. Today, we're starting with the bedrock of Swift: types, constants, and variables. We'll explore how Swift uses types to store information. You'll learn about let for values that never change. We'll introduce var for values that can change over time. After this lesson, you'll tackle a series of coding exercises that will solidify your grasp of Swift's fundamental constructs. After honing your skills in Swift, you'll begin to explore the basics of SwiftUI with practical challenges that lay the groundwork for future learning. Let's dive into our lesson today. When you open up Xcode, you'll see the following screen. We aren't going to use any of the create new projects or clone or anything, open an existing project. We're going to start from scratch. And in order to do that, we have to do it a different way. So we're going to close this window out. Up at the top in our menu for Xcode, we're going to go to File, New, and we're going to select Playground. Now, inside of the playground, we want to make sure that we have blank selected, and we'll click Next. And you can save this whatever you want, but we're going to do this every day. So I would suggest creating a new playground each day so that you have code that you can refer to back, or that you can go back to and refer to. So I'm going to call it day one, and I'm going to hit create. And we have a import and we have a greeting here, and we're going to go ahead and delete this and start from scratch. So in programming, when we deal with, we have a different way of, okay. So now that we have it deleted, let's start by putting our name into playgrounds. So I'm going to type in Craig Clayton. And then I'm going to type 25. I'm going to type in 65.5. I'm going to type true, and I'm going to type false. So right now, we've got a lot going on here. And the first thing we need to know is whenever we want to put strings into any particular program, we have to do it in quotes. So here, that's why you're seeing this error, and it doesn't really, cannot find Clayton in scope. Well, I'm right here, but it clearly can't find me. So what we want to do is we want to put Craig Clayton, or in this case, your name, inside of quotes. So if you highlight it and hit the quote, we can put it inside of quotes. Perfect. Now, the rest of them all work. There's no errors. There's no issues. Well, there are some issues. So when we do this, we have no real way of referencing my name or any of the other data that's in here. So in order to do that, we want to use what's known as a constant, and we can type in let, and then we're going to type in the name, which in this case is going to be name, and we're going to set it equal to Craig Clayton. So now we have basically what we call a pointer or a variable, in this case constant, that's pointing to name. And we can use name anywhere throughout our project that we want. And by doing this, it allows us to reference Craig Clayton from this variable. Now, or from this constant, I keep saying variable. And so what we want to do is, in regards to constants can't change. So if I do print and I say name, and I'll explain the print in just a second, and I hit this little play button on the left-hand side. So now that we run, we can see here that we have a name that's created. And then when we print the name, it outputs this name here with this little line break here. Okay. So what we can do is, let's try something. So as I said, constants can't be changed. So if I try to say name equals another name, let's just say I want to update my name. So I'm going to say the second. And now you can see here that Xcode tells us cannot assign to value name is a let. And then if we click, it says is a constant. Now, by default, Apple prefers that you always start with a let if you're not sure. If you know that it's not going to change, make it a let. If you don't know if it's not going to change, make it a let. Then if you decide to use the variable, so let's say down the road you decide you want to change that variable. Apple feels it's safer to make it a let. And then if you decide to change it, you'll get this message. So by default, whenever you're working in Xcode and you're working on a project and you're not sure, make it a let. And then if it needs to be changed, you'll get this error and you can change it yourself. So we're going to go ahead and remove this and we're going to keep it a let. And we're going to create a variable. So for 25, we're going to say var, and then we're going to say age equals 25. Now we can print this one again, and I will go over that in just a second. So now we should see age 25 underneath this one if we hit the play button. And there we go. So print will let us look and see what's inside of the variable, what is pointing to that variable. We have two different ways of seeing things. We have print and we have dump. Dump works really well when you have objects that we'll do much later in these lessons, where you can see inside of the actual object and see all of the different properties that you created. Right now, print is good because there's nothing to see inside. We're just seeing we're seeing strings and numbers. So when we get there, we'll introduce dump when it's relevant, but it's a really good way of debugging things when you're doing it. But here we have var age is equal to 25. So now if I want to say, oh wait, my age is actually 42. And then if I do a print age, now right here, it'll be 45. But then after I reference it, it changes to 42. So that's how that's the differences between our lets and our constants and our variables. Lets can't change and variables can. Let's go ahead and so we're going to change the next one. We're going to make, we have here 65.5. So that's a decimal. And we can also give, so here we have, this is referencing as a number. So if I wanted to do colon integer, I'm basically saying, hey, this age should be an int, which it already knows by what we're pointing to. It already knows that let, the constant, is a string. So if we wanted to do, let's say, so here we go, var average, and then I'm going to go colon int, and I'm going to set it equal to 65.5. And see here, it's saying it can't make 65.5 an integer because it's a decimal. So what we want to do is say it's actually a double. Okay, so we have the average here, and that error should go away. We have this, and so now if we go ahead and print average, we will now see the value print in the console. And keep in mind, this is just Swift Playgrounds. When we get into Xcode, it's going to be arranged a little differently. And when we do the Xcode tour in the SwiftUI, you'll see how it's done differently. But in this is a really good place. I always tell my mentees whenever they're starting to start a new project and create code. And it goes for Playgrounds. I don't harp on it as much. So if you're trying to figure something out, let's say you're trying to do something with a particular thing you want to do with code. It doesn't involve a UI. My suggestion is open up a playground and get some data that you need to manipulate and mess around with it and figure it out from there. And so this is a good place. So being in Playgrounds, getting comfortable in here is a good thing. Even though you may not build apps in it, it's a good place to learn. It's a good place to test. It's a good place to debug. And especially if you have a massive project, if you get hired from a company and they're want you to do some code. They want you to do a function that does something, and it's in like a deep place in the app where you have to go through 5 different pages to get to it. Why do you want to waste your time? Every time you build a project, you have to check it and run it. Whereas in Playgrounds, you can really iterate faster and learn faster, and then you can bring the code into wherever it is you need it. So what we want to do here is we want to change these 2 values. So true and false is a Boolean. And in programming, instead of saying Boolean, we call it bool in Swift. So I'm going to say var, and typically when you want to reference a bool, you want to use the is parameter or has parameter, or I say is or has for the name so that it makes sense when you read it. So we're going to say is open equals true. And then I'm going to say var is closed :bool equals false. So 2 different ways. So one, we're referencing the actual value. We're referencing it by giving it a type, or it will take the type by what we give it. So you have 2 different ways. It's all up to you how you want to do it. And there'll be times when you have to reference, when you have to give it a type because you don't have the data yet. And then there'll be times when you create variables that you can. So I want to make sure that you see both ways so you know why we're doing it in both ways. And that's what we have here. So for those that are interested in doing more research and learning more, right now we're giving it we're giving the data a type, and because Swift is a type safe language, it basically means once I give it a type or I set it here, I can't change the type. I can't change this is open from a Boolean to a string, or from a Boolean to an int double, or anything. Once I give it a value, or once I give it a type, it stays that type throughout the entire project. There are programming languages like JavaScript where you can change it from different types. And I'm not the person to give you anything about JavaScript because I don't do it. So if you're coming from that language, then just understand that you won't be able to change something once you set it to a specific type. So if you name it a string, or you set it as a string, it stays a string. If you set it as an integer, it stays an integer. If you set it as a double, it stays a double, et cetera, et cetera. So you can't change anything. You can't do anything. So the type that we're going to use, that you use, is the type that it's going to be for its entire lifespan, whatever that may be. So that's how data types work. And in the next video, we'll start expanding upon this. And I'm doing this really slow. I want you to understand the different things. And this is a very simple lesson, but I want to make sure that we're all on the same page, because as I start ramping up and I start giving you more and more, I don't want you to jump ahead thinking, oh, today's lesson was really simple. Good. Then do the challenge and then wait till tomorrow, let it marinate, and then tomorrow do day 2. Because sometimes when you try to do too much, you don't grasp everything if you try to focus on 2 or 3 lessons down the road. And what I want you to do is I want you to make sure you understand something and move on. Even if you feel like, hey, I got it, it's not that hard. I know it's not hard, but for some it may be. And that's no judgment. Like, as I say to mentees all the time, when you're learning, it doesn't matter how long it takes you to learn something. It doesn't matter how long it takes that person to learn something. So I get them asking, well, how long did it take you? It doesn't matter how long it took me, because you trying to make sure you're going in line with what I did doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean you're a bad programmer. It doesn't mean you're a good programmer. It just means that it took you that time. And there's going to be different lessons that you learn that you're going to grasp right away. And then there's going to be other things that you're like, I'm lost. And I've been in both situations. There's been topics that I've learned that I'm like, oh, okay, that's pretty easy. And then when I thought a lesson would be easy and then I learned it, I'm like, I still don't get it. And then I read it again and I still don't get it. And then I had to keep drilling it. And then finally it clicks. And so, you just have to go through those phases. So please understand that this boot camp is for you at your pace and it's daily. So if tomorrow you still may not get or grasp a lesson, then wait another day. You don't have to rush, because what's going to happen is you miss something, and then like 15 days down the road, when you've already done a bunch of other things, now you have to go back and learn it. You don't want to have to go back and learn something. Great. It's always good to relearn something or to go back to fundamentals. Sports players do it all the time. Every offseason, they work on their fundamentals. If you're a Lakers fan or a Kobe Bryant fan, or you know who he is, or Michael Jordan, or whoever the case may be, they always go back to working on dribbling, working on shooting, working on free throws, working on rebounding. They work on those skills. And that's the same as a programmer. You have to work on all of these skills to get better. There's things that I can relearn, or, like I don't remember everything about sets. If I need it, I'll go, oh yeah, that's right. But you're not going to use things all the time. And so what will end up happening is, because you don't learn it, because you don't use it often, you forget it. And so this is a great way to just remind yourself, oh, that's right. This, and this is for that. I don't want to say anything and make you any more confused than you may already be. But I will stop preaching and stop talking and wrap up today. So tomorrow I want you to get ready, because we're going to work on control flow with our code with conditionals. So until then, work on today's challenges, practice makes perfect, and I'll see you on day 2.